Thank you very much for your time today and your interest in our talk. This will be now in English because my Polish is very poor and very little. We talk today about how PSD2 and open banking can be used to ease and automate installment loan repayment. So we will focus very much now more on the payment side to repayment. I'm Thomas. I'm from a company called Straal. We do offer online payments, help merchants accept payments online, and make sure that we can help them to optimize their acceptance rate and also the approval rate for online payments. If we look in the online lending space and kind of in the past and how it looks like today, there are a lot of companies attending or aiming to get some market shares. So in the basic, in the back, we had deferred payments and loan repayments, but more and more fintechs and startups getting into that space and trying to gain some market shares. If you look into Poland as a country itself, I think it's a very advanced country, and we did a lot of analysis in what kind of payment options they are using, what payment options they're offering. And I think like the main advantage what Poland has compared to other European countries at the moment is that they do offer already a payment method which is more or less open banking, which is called Pay by Link. I'm sure you're all familiar with that, on top of the traditional payment methods. If you look back into other countries like Germany, UK, or even the US, and the rest of the world basically, there are more or less only the traditional payment methods are offered, like cash payments, credit cards, or direct debits, or even card payments. But if we look on the other hand to the market share, what is kind of the value of those markets? I think you have heard that before already, but actually in Poland at the moment, or last year, there was 1.65 billion euros granted in loan, and worldwide or in Europe there was kind of a volume of nearly 100 million. If you look at the payment side, there is still a lot of space because 50% of the transaction what customers actually try to perform haven't been completed because the payment method what they were looking for was missing. And even the abandoned rate is close to 85%. So I think there's a lot of room with just offering the right payment mix and making sure that your customers, which you try to kind of from the marketing side, from the sales side, bring to your website, and then suddenly they drop out because they do not have the right payment method. So I think like focusing on the right, offering the right payment mix and the right payment method is a very important part. And here I believe we as Straal are here to help companies like yours with offering the right payment methods and making sure that you get a lot of data back due to the open banking and all the other payment options we are offering. So if you look now, basically what's beyond or before us, ahead of us, so I think like what Poland currently is offering is this Pay by Link solution is a very advanced solution. We at Straal launched, based on open banking, a couple of months ago, a new payment method which is called Straal Direct, which is very similar to the Polish Pay by Link solution. But if we dive a little bit deeper from a user perspective, and this is not only available in Poland, this is currently in 9 countries available across Europe and will be expanded as soon as the banks open their APIs to all across Europe. So how does it look like on the user side? So basically the customer on the checkout pages chooses I want to pay by bank transfer or however you want to call it, logs in to his online bank, confirms the payment with one click or with his PIN, whatever kind of second security layer the banks do have, confirms the payment and will be redirected to the customer's website or the merchant's website. And I think here the interesting part is thanks to open banking, there are no delayed payments, either you get a success or a failed payment. I probably should not really dive into the more from the system or from the technical side, but you do have the customer, the lending company, us as a service provider, the customer banks, which will be transferred the money immediately or within 24 hours to the lending companies. As I mentioned, we do have our solution is currently available in 9 countries across Europe. we are planning to expand into, we want to cover Europe in total by the end of the year. However, we also look to expand into MENA and the US. So we do have already a couple of US banks connected to our system. As I mentioned in the beginning, we do also focus a lot of optimization, automation, how we can improve the whole system. And I think here is the interesting part what PSD2 can bring to every company, because you get a lot of data back, or you can get a lot of data back. So this is kind of how we believe we can help customers or merchants making sure that their customers can pay. So the first transaction is, as we call it, a push transaction. So the customer initiates the payment, carries everything out as normal. In the same time, thanks to PSD2, we have the opportunity to do an account aggregation. So we get a lot of data back from the bank, meaning what is the account balance, when was the last transaction being performed, is there actually enough money on the account to do anything further. And then there's either the opportunity that you keep on having those push transactions, but as we have a lot of data like account information, IBAN, and more information, we do at Straal have the opportunity to convert that push transaction into a pull transaction. Meaning like we can start from a second payment on, we can start direct debiting his account on the different terms. And then last but not least, I think a very important part is the account monitoring, because with PSD2, you do have the opportunity basically to have a look 4 times a day into the account for the next 90 days, as long as the customer does not reverse this token. Yes, so I think like looking into the PSD2 and the open banking, what's going on here, I think there are 2 pillars. The first one is the open banking. What kind of information do we get back as a payment service initiator? So we do have the account name, the account balance, a raw transaction data, including the timestamp, and the transaction amount and the description. As I said before, we can work with those data for the next 90 days. I think like in Poland, it's prohibited. That's why so far it's not very popular in Poland, or non-existing, but in other countries it's still possible, like Germany or even the UK. It is the so-called screen scraping. With the screen scraping, you get way more information than what you get with open banking. So basically, you have full access to the customer account. Whatever the customer can see in his bank account, you also have the ability to look into all those information. So basically, depending on the account or the bank, you can look for information over for the past up to 6 to 9 months. So there's a lot of information available. But at the end, the transaction is being handled via the open banking always. It's just about getting all the information together. I think the first part with the open banking, as you might all be aware, there will be a lot of changes coming in place over the next couple of weeks or months, because there are a lot of startups at the moment complaining that the banks do not give them enough information, what they would like to see. I think as everything is kind of still in an early stage, there will be more data or less data shared with all those companies, depending on the license and everything, because there are still, you can do a lot of, you can mislead those information you have if they got into the wrong hands, I believe. But we strongly believe, you know, if you do things right with those data, you can really make sure that you have a win-win situation, that you get paid on time and everything you get the information from. So if looking into the win-win solution, why do we say it's a win-win solution? There's open banking in the online payment world. You know, for looking at the lending companies, I think they do have a higher conversion rate. They can add new payment methods. Payments are more on time, because exactly they know, okay, there's an easy way, they have immediately the funds on their account. They can do more analytics on the account. Basically, if a customer, if they receive the data, there are not enough funds on the account, they can send out a notification to a text message or email notifying the customer. You know, probably you should start looking into an alternative payment option. There are cash payment options here, so you can really make sure that you serve your customer what working with you, basically, you make sure that you have a higher, or you can offer them the right payment methods. You can target more markets, so you're not only limited to one market anymore. I think with the solution we have, you can reach out now to whole Europe and target your target group. And I think the most important part is you get more knowledge about your customer, because you can really start analyzing their behavior and also make probably for future references, make sure that you do the right checks up front and offer them the right payment products. For the customers, I think it's very straightforward. They save a lot of time because the payment method is immediately carried out. They do not have to worry about repayments or paying on time. That's pretty straightforward. You know, if they prefer, you can have the automated direct debit, so it's automatically debited every month or every week, whatever you decide on the repayment cycle. And I believe also, as we see more and more companies coming now to that space, that you know, you will see more and more companies joining that game. And for affiliates, I think like that's a very important part here too. I'm not the expert on the affiliate marketing side, but I believe as you spend a lot of your CPA might be more important, because the customers, if they just like have the right payment choices from the beginning, they might be more likely to convert, so you get paid. You can also start having a more accurate targeting, because you can say, okay, those companies, based on the payment methods, you can really target the right countries. And last but not least, you can reach out to more countries, because your service could be available in more countries going forward. Yes, and that's basically everything from my side. I hope I could give you or provide you with a short overview of how we at Straal can help payment or lending companies help to improve and automate their payment experience from the customer side. A little slightly dive in the PSD2, what's going on, and from how a payment service provider or payment initiator can profit from that. And thanks for listening, and if you do have any questions, please let me know, and I'm happy to answer all of them.